My name is Jessica. I am 31 years old. I teach English at Oxford University. I like my job. I like to help people learn. I like the classroom. I like to see my students grow. But my life outside class is quiet. I live alone. I eat alone. I sleep alone. Most days I feel okay. But some nights I feel very lonely. I had a boyfriend once. I thought he loved me. I gave him everything. But he changed. He left. He did not even say goodbye. After that, I closed my heart. I said no more love. I only wanted to teach. I only wanted to work. I did not want pain again. Then Leo came into my class. He was 22 years old. He joined the beginner English course through an international vacancy. He wanted to speak better. He wanted to study in the UK. He was an adult learner, not a child, but still young. He was not like the other students. He was quiet. He was kind. He listened well. He always looked into my eyes when I spoke. He always sat in the third row near the window. He came early to class. He stayed late after class. He asked questions, not just about English. He asked about books, about Oxford, about life in England. I always answered. But inside I felt something strange. I told myself, Anna, stop. You are the teacher. He is your student. This is wrong. But my heart did not listen. My heart waited for him. My heart looked for his smile. One day after class, he came to my desk. He held a book in his hand. He said, Miss Anna, do you know a quiet place to read? I smiled. I said, yes, there is a bookshop near here. It has a cafe. It is nice and quiet. He smiled back. Thank you, he said. I will go there. That night, I made tea. I sat by my window. I looked outside. I thought about Leo. I thought about his voice. I thought about his eyes. I felt warm and confused. I said, no, this is not right. But still, I smiled. The next week, I went to the bookshop. I wanted to buy something to read. I walked past the cafe inside. I saw him, Leo. He was there. He had a cup of coffee. He had a book in his hand. He looked up and saw me. He smiled. Miss Anna, he said. You were right. This place is very nice. I wanted to walk away. But he stood up. Would you like to sit for a minute? He asked. I said yes. We talked. He told me about his country. He told me about his family. He asked about my life. I told him I live alone. I told him I like quiet places. He said, you seem like a calm person. I smiled and said nothing. After a while, I stood up. I said, thank you. I need to go now. He said, it was nice to talk to you. That night, I could not sleep. The next day, I met my friend Caroline. She is also a teacher. We had lunch together. She looked at me and said, you look different. Is something wrong? I said, there is a student in my class. I feel something for him. She looked surprised. Oh, she said. That can be hard. I nodded. He is kind. He is smart. He listens to me. I do not want to feel this way. Caroline held my hand. She said, you are human, Anna, but be careful. After that day, I tried to be strong. I tried to act normal, but it was not easy. When I saw Leo, my heart felt heavy. When he spoke, I listened too closely. When he smiled, I smiled back. I hated that I could not control my feelings. One afternoon after class, he walked beside me. It was raining. He had an umbrella. He said, do you want to share it? I said, no, thank you. I like the rain. He smiled but said nothing. We walked in silence. Then he turned and left. My hair was wet. My shoes were wet. But I did not care. I felt warm inside. The next day, I found a paper in one of the books on my desk. It was a letter. There was no name, but I knew it was from Leo. It said, I know I should not say this. I know you are my teacher, but I think about you. I will not do anything wrong. I just wanted you to know. My hand shook. My face felt hot. I closed the paper and put it in my drawer. I did not speak to him. I did not write back. But that night, I read the letter again. More days passed. Then the last class came. I gave the lesson. I said goodbye to my students. They clapped. They took their certificates and left. But Leo stayed. He walked to my desk. He looked into my eyes. "So this is the end," he said. I nodded. "Yes. You are not my student anymore." He gave a small smile. "No, I am not." We stood there in silence. Then he said, "Thank you, Miss Anna, for teaching me and for more than that." I looked at him. I wanted to say something, but I said, "Good luck, Leo." He turned and walked away. I stood in the classroom alone. My hands were cold. My heart was full. My head said, "Be quiet." But my heart whispered, "I miss him already." After the final class, I did not see Leo again. The classroom felt empty. The halls were quiet. I walked through the same doors, but something had changed. I still smiled at my new students. I still taught my lessons. But inside, I felt heavy. I thought about Leo every day. I remembered his voice, his smile, his eyes. I missed him. I went to the cafe near the bookstore. I sat by the window and looked outside. I watched the people walk past. I hoped to see him again. I looked at the door many times, but Leo never came. I finished my tea and walked home. My heart was still full of him. At night, I cooked dinner. I watched the news. I cleaned my kitchen. I read books. But my thoughts always went back to Leo. I saw his face in my mind. I heard his words in my heart. I asked myself, why do I still feel this way? I tried to forget him, but it did not work. Many weeks passed. Then a few months. Each day felt slow. Some days I felt okay, but many days I felt empty. My flat was quiet. My phone stayed silent. I went to bed early. I woke up tired. I missed feeling alive. I missed the way I felt when he was around. I started walking more in the evenings. I walked near the river. I sat in the park. I watched children play. I watched couples laugh. I watched old people feed the birds. I sat alone on a bench and closed my eyes. Sometimes I wished I could go back in time just for a moment. One evening I met my friend Caroline again. We sat in our usual cafe. She ordered coffee. I ordered tea. She looked at me and smiled. "You are still thinking about him," she said. I nodded. "Yes, I am." She took my hand. "Then maybe your story with him is not finished." Her words made me think. That night I looked at the stars. I sat near my window and closed my eyes. I did not speak. I only felt. I hoped. I wished. One Saturday morning, the sky was clear, the sun was soft. I went to the local market. I wanted fruit and flowers. I walked slowly. I stopped at the flower stall. I looked at the yellow tulips. They were my favorite. Then I heard a voice. "Miss Anna." I turned around. It was Leo. He looked a little older. His hair was longer. He had a small beard. He looked at me and smiled. I could not move. My heart jumped. "Leo," I said. "Hello." He stepped closer. "It's really you?" "Yes," I said. "It's been a long time." He looked at the flowers. "You still like tulips?" "I do," I said. "They make me happy." We stood in silence for a few seconds. Then he said, "Can we talk?" I looked around. I saw a bench under a tree. "Let's sit there." We walked together to the bench. We sat down. The wind touched my face. The birds sang above us. The moment felt still. "I wanted to see you," he said, "many times. But I didn't know if I should." "I thought about you too," I said, "a lot." He looked at me. "You were my teacher. I never forgot that. But I also never forgot how you made me feel." I looked down at my hands. "You are not my student anymore." No, he said. I'm not. We both smiled. I work now, he said, at a bookshop near the old library. It's quiet. I help people find books. I read a lot, too. That sounds nice, I said. It is, he said. Reminds me of our class, of you. My heart was beating fast. Can I ask something? He said. Yes, I said. Do you still feel it? He asked. The same feeling. I looked at his face. I saw truth in his eyes. I could not lie. Yes, I said. I do. He let out a small breath. I feel it too, he said. Still. I looked away. I was afraid. I still am. I don't want to hurt you, he said. Or your work. I just want to know you. Not as a teacher, just as a person. His voice was soft. His words were clear. I don't know if we should, I said. Then let's not rush, he said. Let's meet like friends. Maybe, I said. Maybe we can. He smiled. Next week, then? I looked at him. Okay. We stood up. He walked with me to the end of the street. He waved goodbye. I watched him walk away. My hands felt cold, but my heart felt warm. I had not smiled like that in a long time. The next week, we met at the cafe. We sat at the same table near the window. He wore a green sweater. I wore a white dress. We talked for over an hour. We laughed. We remembered books from our class. He said, "You were the first teacher who really saw me." I smiled. We met again the next week. We walked in the park. The trees were full and green. We sat by the river. The water moved slowly. He told me about his family. I told him about mine. I felt calm. I felt safe. Sometimes we just sat in silence, but it was not a sad silence. It was soft. It was full of meaning. One day I told Caroline. "We are seeing each other," I said. She looked at me. "Are you happy?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "Very." She smiled. "Then it's okay. You waited, and now he's not your student. It's not wrong anymore." Her words made me feel better. Each time I met Leo, I felt lighter. I started to sleep better. I started to dream again. I looked forward to the next day, to the next smile, to the next moment with him. He did not try to impress me. He did not try to be perfect. He was just himself. And I liked that. We went to museums. We went to a small movie. We sat in the garden and talked. We shared food. We shared jokes. We shared silence. All of it felt easy. It felt real. One evening we sat near the bookstore where he worked. He gave me a small gift. It was a bookmark. On it were the words, "Thank you for seeing me." I touched the bookmark. I looked at him. I did not speak. I just smiled. That night, I held the bookmark in my hand. I thought about him, about the past, about the quiet love that was growing now. Maybe we did not start in the right way. Maybe our story was strange, but it was still real, and it was just beginning. Time passed quickly after that. Leo and I continued to meet. We talked, we laughed, and we shared many quiet days. I started to feel alive again. I felt young and full of hope. But deep inside, I was also afraid. I did not speak about this fear, not even to Caroline. One afternoon, we sat in the park. The sun was soft. Children played nearby. Leo was reading a book. I watched him. His face was calm. His hands held the book gently. I smiled. But then I felt something inside me, something sad. I asked myself again, can this really work? He was kind. He was smart. He cared about me. But he was still young. And I was not only older. I had been his teacher. People would talk. My job could be at risk. My name could be hurt. Leo looked up. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. I looked away. "Nothing important yet," I said. But it was a lie. At home, I sat in my chair and thought for hours. I made tea. I looked at the rain on the window. I tried to think clearly. I asked myself, what do I want? What is right? Caroline came over that weekend. I told her how I felt. I said, I love being with him, but I am scared. I don't know what to do. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, it's okay to be scared, but you have to be honest with him and with yourself. The next time I saw Leo, we sat at a table outside the cafe. The sky was gray. The wind was cold. I looked at him for a long time before I spoke. Leo, I said, I care about you, but I need to think about the future. He looked confused. What do you mean? I mean, I'm not sure if this can work, I said. He looked hurt. Why not? You are younger, I said. You are just starting your life. I already lived that part. He was quiet. I'm not saying I don't feel anything, I said. I do. But feelings are not always enough. He looked into my eyes. Do you want to stop seeing me? I did not answer right away. No, I said, but maybe we need space. Leo did not argue. He just looked down. Okay, he said, if that's what you need. That was the last time we met for many weeks. The days felt long again. The evenings felt dark. I walked to work. I walked home. I saw the same people, but something was missing. I missed Leo, but I also felt quiet inside, like I had closed a door and did not know how to open it again. 2 months passed. One day I received an invitation to a wedding. It was from an old friend. I went. I wore a blue dress. I sat near the back. People danced. People laughed. I stood near the table holding a glass of water. Then I heard someone say, Anna. I turned. It was Mark, a man I knew from my past. We had worked together at a summer school many years ago. He smiled. I smiled, too. We talked. We shared stories. We laughed. That night he walked me home. We met again the next week. Then again. Mark was different from Leo. He was my age. He had a stable job. He liked quiet things. He spoke gently. He made me feel safe, not excited like Leo, but calm, peaceful. Months passed. Mark asked me to marry him. I looked at him. He was good. He was kind. I said yes. My family was happy. My friends were happy. Caroline hugged me and said, I'm proud of you. But inside, part of me felt sad. I remembered Leo, his voice, his smile, his gift, the bookmark. Thank you for seeing me. I kept it in my book, hidden but close. I did not see Leo again until one rainy afternoon 1 year later. I was walking through the bookshop where he once worked. I saw him standing near the back helping a child find a book. He looked older now, more serious, still kind. He turned and saw me. His face changed. Not angry, not sad, just surprised. Hi, Leo, I said. Hi, he said. It's been a while. Yes, I said. It has. He looked at my hand. He saw the ring. He smiled, but it was a small, quiet smile. You got married, he said. I did, I said, just a few months ago. He looked at the floor. I'm happy for you. I wanted to say something. I wanted to tell him he was not a mistake, that he still meant something, that he helped me feel again. Instead, I said, you look well. So do you, he said. We stood in silence. Then he said, I still remember our talks, our walks, the class. I remember too, I said. He gave a small laugh. I still have your old book. The one you gave me. Really? I smiled. Yes, he said. It has a flower inside. From that walk near the river. I looked at him. He was no longer a boy. He was a man now. A kind man, a strong man, but not mine. Well, I said, it was good to see you. You, too, he said. We said goodbye. I walked out of the shop. The rain was soft. My steps were slow. That night, I sat by the window with a cup of tea. I looked at the rain again. I thought of him. I thought of what could have been. But I also knew I had made a choice. Sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes we choose safety over fire, calm over chaos. I walked down the aisle with someone who could give me peace. I left behind the one who made my heart beat fast. Was it the right choice? I may never know. But I carry Leo in my heart. Not with pain, but with warmth. He helped me feel again. He helped me see myself. And that will never go away. Some stories do not end with forever. Some stories end quietly, but they still matter. And this was one of them. We all go through hard times, but stories like this can help us feel seen. Thank you for watching and come back for more real moments.